Hi everyone, I'm Dirk Stone with the Dirk Stone Real Estate team, and today I'm with Brent Pike, who's a buyer specialist on our team. How you doing, Brent?
I'm doing great, Dirk. How are you?
Awesome. You know, a lot of people are asking us in 2021, like, what are the challenges that we're faced with in the market as we're helping buyers and sellers? Now I'm working with a combination of sellers and buyers, and I know that you're really focused on working with buyers. And what are some of the things that you're seeing out there that would be challenges in the market that we're in today?
The biggest challenge buyers have right now is just a lot of people don't understand what the process really is. So the process varies from buyer to buyer. You know, a lot of people have done 5 real estate transactions and they know exactly what to do from soup to nuts. Most people are first or second home buyers, and they haven't done this a lot, so they don't really know what the process entails. So, you know, the biggest problem I have with people is just, you know, sitting down and getting a game plan in place with them. You know, starting out, let's get you pre-approved for a mortgage so we know exactly, you know, what you can afford and what you want to spend. I mean, just because you can afford $1 million house may not mean that you want to spend $1 million on a house. So let's get comfortable with what your monthly payment would be. Let's get comfortable with what your down payment would be on the house. You know, do you need to sell a house in order to buy a house? You know, are you renting right now? What kind of possession time can you give the sellers if you're purchasing a home right now? These are all things that, if we can learn this stuff on the front side, we can write really good competitive offers that put you in a much better position to be able to procure your first home or your second home or your third home. So what kind of issues do you run into with sellers?
Well, sellers in 2021 are faced with the one challenge. They're like, gosh, I'd love to move, but gosh, if I sell my house, I don't know where I'm going to actually go. So what we're trying to do now is to kind of really just sit down, assess their wants and needs going forward. You know, if they're looking to move from their home because it's functionally obsolescent for their lifestyle today. For example, it's a 2-story home with laundry in the basement and they can no longer go up and downstairs. Well, it's maybe time to sell that home. But a lot of them want to know, where am I going to go from there? And so sitting down with them, understanding kind of what their wants and needs are going forward is, you know, is a condo a good fit, or a good fit? Is a single-story ranch home a good fit for them? You know, where do they want to be? Do they want to be closer to recreational opportunities? Do they want to be close to the grocery stores, the doctor's offices? Those are the things that we have to learn up front. And then from there, obviously look at the investment range that they want to be in, and then try to put the wheels in motion so that they feel confident about the process, that knowing that they're in good hands with us. And that's where the experienced agents like us are making a huge difference in the marketplace today.
Quick question for you. So as a buyer's agent, when I'm bringing a buyer to buy a house that you have listed, what's the most important thing to most sellers? Is it price? Is it possession? Is it who the lender is? I mean, what are things that are important to the sellers that you work with?
Well, I'd say all of the above, but actually, and I mean, when you ask most sellers, they obviously want the most money. That's the number one thing that they want. But they also do want things like post-closing possession. So, for example, an offer gets written today and it's going to close in a month. The sellers may need an additional month in the home at no charge to them. They want that flexibility to have time so they can work their plan and finding their new home, their next step, whatever it might be.
That's good to know, because I mean, that's something that I always try to call the other agent and build that rapport and try to find out, hey, what is the seller looking for? So that way I can put my clients in the best position to be able to get that house, whether it be possession. Because I mean, I've had a couple times where I've wrote offers that weren't the highest price, but they won out because, you know, my buyers were renting and their rental went for another 60 days. And hey, we'll give those sellers, you know, 45 days post-possession closing free of charge. No big deal to them. And that was such a big deal to the sellers that, you know, we were able to win the deal, even though, you know, we weren't the highest price. We were close. I mean, obviously you got to be close. You're not going to, you know, it's not worth $10,000 to a seller, but it might be worth a couple $1,000s to them.
Absolutely, and that's where I do think that sometimes terms can trump price. Mm-hmm. And so fine-tuned, detailed, you know, well-crafted offers are going to speak more to sellers in this marketplace. That's what sellers want to know is, do these people have the financing? Do they have the ability to close on our home if we accept their offer? Sellers don't want to tie their homes up off the market only to have a deal go bad, because it really takes the wind out of their sails as far as the listing is concerned. So we really want to try to make sure that we've dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's. We've really examined the buyer and the agent that brought the buyer and who the lender is to know whether they're going to be able to perform to the terms of the agreement if we choose that particular buyer.
One of the things I really appreciate working with you is, you know, we all have busy lives. You know, you've got, you know, an almost 16-year-old son. I've got a 17-year-old son, a 15-year-old daughter, and you know, the thing that I think that our team can bring to the table that, you know, a lot of single agents can't do on their own is, like this weekend, I'm going to be gone, so you're going to show my cousin a house or two.
Right.
You know, I mean, I think that's some of the value that we can bring as buyers agents in working in a group team, is the fact that, you know, we have flexibility, and in this fast-paced market, if you can't get into a house soon, you're not going to get it. So if your agent's on vacation for 3 weeks, what are you going to do? You're going to stop seeing houses? I mean, that's where I think that, you know, I really appreciate being on the Dirk Stone team, where you know, we can work together. I can call you or Wes or Becca to get in and help on some of these deals. So I think that, you know, that's another thing that, you know, I think buyers, when they're out there looking, they need to evaluate, you know, who they're working with, why are they working with that person, and what is that person bringing to the table. I mean, just because they're your cousin or your aunt or your uncle doesn't mean that they should just give you the business. You should have to earn that business, and I think that's one thing that we do well is earning that business from our customers.
Right.